welcome this morning. This is the In Christ Early Birdie practice. And in this practice today, we have been spending the last couple days really working on the awarenesses that we're invited to make space and time to hold in our system for an embodied experience. And this is preparing us to embody God's living and loving support. Jesus is helping us to recognize how much more time it actually takes to move beyond just the cognitive experience and into the awareness of what's happening with your physical body, and really allowing the time that it takes for the body to be reorganized by the mystery of Christ and receive a power that is greater than us, to be connected to that power that is greater than us. And so in this morning's practice, we're just going to go through the full emotional sensory core of receiving the physical chair. Tomorrow morning, we are going to go through the full emotional sensory core of receiving God alive in the physical chair. And then that kind of takes us through how to understand a little more completely the anatomy of an embodied experience and how to receive something through your full body. So welcome this morning. For this journal, you're definitely going to want to have a pen and a journal. So for this practice, you're going to want to have a pen and a journal so that you can help your brain have some support through this process. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin the way that Jesus invites us to begin all of our moments of conscious awareness, which is to first notice how you are held and connected to the place where you are seated. So let's take a moment and allow ourselves to feel how we are held by the place where we are seated. And as you are noticing how you are held and connected to your seat, you want to take a moment to notice which part of your body feels the most held or the most supported by your seat. And as you notice that, you're going to write down that body part into the journal. So see if you can take a moment and you're going to name your body part. For me, it is the back of my hips. That is the body part right now in my seat where I am the most connected. So as I'm looking at the physical seat that we are going to be practicing with today, where you're sitting, maybe you're sitting in a bed or maybe you're sitting in a chair, you're practicing receiving by noticing that physical surface. So take a moment and you're noticing the physical surface and you're noticing your body part that is the most connected to that. If you want to take a moment and you're going to name it. So once you recognize what that is, you can name it. You can put it in the chat box. You can put it um, in the comments box if you're watching this on a replay. This is just helping yourself to see this is where my body, Jesus refers to it, it is holding hands with God. This is how I'm beginning to hold hands with God. I can be holding hands with somebody that I care about, but what is happening, the aliveness that's happening through holding hands is something very different. It's allowing me to be more connected consciously. It's a reaching towards that person and them reaching back towards you. In this mystery of our living Christ, our living God, God is reaching towards us, trying to hold hands with us through everything that is around us. Everything that we are using, everything that is in our space is a form of God holding hands with us, offering us something so that we can be navigating our journey. And what Jesus is saying is, as you are beginning to be consciously connected to the things that you are using in the moment and the circumstances that are present, as you are reaching back towards those and holding them and recognizing where your body is connected, it is you reaching back to hold hands with God. And today we're working with the physical aspect. Tomorrow we're then, once we have received that physical aspect, we'll be able to begin to feel God's aliveness coming through. So when you're looking at which body part is the most connected, this is my hand. This is how I'm connecting in that moment. For me, it is the back of my hips. Feel free to name what it is for you. And we're saying here is where I am the most supported in this place where I'm seated. And you're letting your brain feel what it's like to be supported by your seat in that way. And then as you're letting your brain recognize, here is the body part where I am the most supported. Notice what that feels like for your brain. As your brain is noticing that, what does your brain see? Can you see your body part? Can you see the texture of the surface where you're seated? Can you see how it's holding you? Do you get some mental words that go along with that, some thoughts that go along with that? What do you notice as your brain recognizes that you are supported in this way by your physical seat? And so you're just noticing what your body feels or sees as your brain looks at, here's where I am connected. So in region number 2, we are using our speech. We're saying, here is where I am already connected to and supported by the place where I am seated. Right now we're practicing with a seat, but if I am in the middle of doing something else, I would be noticing what am I connected to in the middle of doing something else. Right now we're just using the seat. So we're letting the brain see, here is where I am already connected to and supported by where I am seated. No matter what I'm doing, I'm already connected here and supported here. So go ahead and say that in your own space and just notice what it's like for your brain to recognize that you are already supported right where you're at. Again, you're going to say, here's where I am already connected to and supported by the place where I am seated. You're noticing that connection, and you're just noticing what it's like to be supported in that way. As your brain and body both recognize together that the support is already there. And again, you're going to bring your mind's attention back to that area. Here is where I am already connected to and supported by the place where I am seated. So one of the things, we're already at the end of class for today, and we're only in region number 2, but this is appropriate because this is hard to help our brain to turn around. It's like turning around the Titanic and trying to get our brain to focus on and create space and time for our body to go through the organic process of being held by God. Right now, Jesus is just taking us into the physical, just recognizing that physical, so I can actually just begin to hold hands, and you can see probably within your own experience, like you're there, and then all of a sudden your mind is busy, and Jesus is saying, and then come back to being held. Come back to being held and notice how the body responds, and then we just kind of are, um, it's a lot to keep coming back to that. One of the challenges I'm personally having right now is doing that in relationship with when other people are around, being able to stay here while other people are having their experience and being able to make space for and take in their experience while at the same time staying on the course that Jesus has me on. And being able to hold on to that. So this journey is infinite. Right now, he's just teaching us, like, here's how the connection actually happens. This is how that happens physically, and then here's the time it takes to really establish an open connection and pathway to God. And then our whole world is going to come into that. And we're going to be invited to hold space for this, to allow this to be the power that holds us, and then to also hold space for other experiences that have been conditioned to just be drawing out. Like as humanity, we're just constantly out trying to manage all this. And Jesus is saying, this is why these strength trainings are pretty much every day, multiple times a day, because it takes that much to teach your body system how to be connected to the authentic strength that God designed us to be connected to, rather than to our own strength and our own perceptions and our own journeys with all that stuff. And so we're just going to stay on track here. What might be helpful for our brains is a little worksheet that breaks down the 7 regions, so we can really just be looking every day like, okay, today we did mind and speech. Tomorrow we might do another region of the emotional sensory core with this. But it's helpful to really give that time to do a deep dive into this awareness and into this embodied experience so that you can start to develop this. And then hopefully that will infiltrate into your life, and it can help you to be more connected while you are in your day. So I hope these practices are offering you some support. I hope that they are enriching your life in some way, if as much or if not more as they enrich my life. And it's my honor to be here with you. And I will see you soon. I'll see you back tomorrow morning. Is Monday, so we're back in our regular schedule. And I will see you then. Take care.